Hello, it's Pop again, Dennis Murray. Um, so I come back to you refreshed after a few days off. Had a lovely Father's Day yesterday. Um, I got a fabulous gift. My great granddaughter Lucy is featured on this coffee mug. And so you've seen my coffee mug with butterflies on it that remind me of Bridget. It's a symbol of new life. But this is also new life. And, sometimes it's time to change symbols. Um, so I feel pretty good. Fabulous, really. I had a lovely day with all of my family and was able to have lunch with dear friends as well. And it's all good. Now, for going forward, I want to proceed with nature's wisdom. I'll have a long series where we talk about nature's wisdom. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look for things in the world around us that are, important features that seem to exist and persist because nature finds them to be a good thing, wise to continue. And the most characteristic feature of that is that nature uses variety, and that's what we're going to start with first. We're going to look at ourselves, we're going to look at plants, we're going to look at animals, um, and we're going to look for variety. And there's a reason that nature uses variety all over the place, um, and it's because you never know what's going to happen next. And so you don't know what things are going to be particularly better suited to whatever's coming next. There will be change. I mean, that's a gimme. Um, Umpty Dum billion years, things have changed quite a bit. So maybe they don't change dramatically from one year to the next, although, of course, I think the pandemic was a pretty dramatic change. And let's hope we don't have any more like that in the rest of our lives. Um, but change is a constant, and it's a gimme. You got to deal with it. And nature's way of dealing with it is variety. So that hedge your bets. There used to be, there is a group of people who give advice to individual investors, small investors, like me, who don't really understand the market. And the advice they gave was very simple. Have a variety of investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, a very old wisdom. But they explained that it's very hard to know where you're going to get your big return on investment. So you try to, you know, get your hand in a variety of things so that hopefully, one or two of them will really pay off for you, and the rest will be also rans and maybe some losers. Um, and that's same as the old wisdom about don't put all your eggs in one basket. And that's the level I'm going to try and stay on. I'm reading all kinds of books. Some of them are pretty dense, or I'm rereading or skim reading them. But I'm looking for variety, and I'm not going to drag us, back into the wisdom of Aristotle. I think that we can find adequate variety in the pages of Wikipedia and on Facebook. I don't use other social media occasionally. I look at Snapchat, uh, Snapchat, but and maybe Instagram when my grandkids or great grandkids are sending me stuff, but mostly I just Facebook. And I think, for example, on Facebook, I said I liked a thing I saw from some guy who has a camera in the woods in Pennsylvania. Well, Pennsylvania is a great big state, and a lot of it is very rural and wooded, and it has a lot of variety of interesting wildlife. So after I liked the site, I got led to the site, and the guy has posted all kinds of videos. And he goes to a lot of trouble. He has apparently a variety of cameras. He goes, hidden in the woods in various places, and he goes out there and he takes the chip out, the computer chip out, and loads the contents onto his media and puts the chip back in, and then he brings the material home and looks through it and creates a little video that's a best of kind of thing. It's a few minutes a day of something interesting going on. And we've seen everything, lots and lots of animals, and really interesting. So there's variety there, and it's on Facebook. And I also liked a Facebook post by some guy also in Pennsylvania who walks around looking at wildflowers, takes a photo, and then apparently is either himself really knowledgeable, like a biologist or something, or he just does a lot of homework and looks them up. And so he puts a, 2, 3 paragraph, 4 paragraph background story about the plant, a precise description and a lot of interesting details, and of course, a very interesting photograph. So I liked him, so I got his site. So now my Facebook page has a fair amount of these wildlife videos and wildflower videos. Well, there's a lot of variety, and you don't need to go beyond Facebook to see it. And so that's plants and animals. And of course, my own experience is like most people who've lived, fairly long time, a lot of different things have happened in your life. A lot of different situations were characteristic at one time or another. When I was, a kid, a teenager, a young married, young dad, young lawyer, and a lot of other things over the years. And there was a time when I was a Sunday school teacher as a young dad, and I decided that I needed to make a point about a variety of social issues. So I often wore a long flowing robe and a necklace made out of beer can pop tops, and all hooked together. And it didn't go over that well with the great majority of parishioners. And I was invited to stop being a Sunday school teacher. And so more about that later. So you see the idea. We're going to talk about nature's wisdom. It's going to be a real long, sequence of podcasts. And we're going to start by talking about variety. And we're going to use, everyday sources for examples. And I found and continue to find examples in some of these books. And I just wanted to mention two books I read that are quite different in their suggested answer to what to do with your upset about modern life. Now, one was written when I was born in 1942, and the other was written a few years later in 1951. One of them says, "Turn to God," and it's a very well-written book by a gifted professor. And I've read some others of his work and followed with some of the people that he spoke of in his book approvingly. And it's a really well-written book. That's a variety of opinion. And the other one says, your idea that there's a you, an ego, an I, and then there's me. In other words, that there's parts to your personality, the part that you think of as I and the deeper part. He said, that's a false idea, and there's where you went wrong. He said, so let go of your ego entirely and just dissolve yourself into a oneness. He's actually a very famous Western expert on Buddhism. and it's brilliant. But my point offering it is, I'm not going to do that. I'm not letting go of me. I just, it's not going to work for me. But my point being that here's an example of variety. There's all kinds of variety in the world, and it should be less frightening because it's nature's wisdom. Okay, thanks. I'm trying to keep it short. Thank you. See you tomorrow.